Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how I made these two pen blanks in this video right here. So stick around. Okay guys, so after being inspired by my first round of pen blank making, I'm off into round number 2. So I'm going to make 4 blanks. I'm going to do 2 the way that I did in my last video, where I had these pieces of wood here and put resin between them. And then I have these shavings that I got off of the bowl that I'm actually working on right now, which is maple and walnuts. And then I have these shavings that I did off of one of these bowls right here. When I drilled out the center section with a forester bit, it was Wingay was the wood there, and so these little curled pieces that come off from the forester bit when you're cutting it. So I want to say Forstner bit, I should say, when you're cutting it, to see what this looks like. So I got this filled with the Wingay and this filled with the maple and walnut slivers here, these pieces. And one of the, I wish I could remember his name because he deserves the credit, but I watched a YouTube video where a guy would actually use rice to figure out how much resin he needed. So I have, these two are pretty full, so I figured that this would be like one of these for the resin for both of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the rice and I'm gonna fill up this one here with the rice, and then this one. And so all the rice is doing is it's just filling in the stuff here so that I can get an estimate of how much. Now, I'm sure those of you out there that are math wizards could probably figure this out and go, man, why is this guy doing this? He's making a mess here. And you guys, if you watched my last video, you know that I am very good at making a mess. But you know, he's just making a mess. What's he doing that for? And but you can probably mathematically figure out how much area you need. And after I make a couple pours from these, I'll know exactly how much I need for each pour that I make. So the idea is just to get the rice in the area that you need it. And so we got a little bit more here that we'll put in here. All right, so this is the amount of volume that basically I need for my pour. I'll get a little bit more in here. I think I'm lacking a little bit there. Again, I'm trying to be neat. I'm trying to be neat, but that's not going to happen very well, I'm sure. But I'll do my best here. Okay. So let me just tamp this down some. All right, so let me get rid of this stuff. All right, so that's roughly the rice that or the amount of area that I'm going to need for these pen blanks here. So I will remove this here. And nice thing is the rice comes off the stuff relatively easy. I'm sure not all things that will come off easy, but in this case it does come off relatively easy. I guess that wouldn't be such a bad thing if I had a little bit of rice in there, huh? That might be kind of cool when you're turning it. Okay, it's probably better off if I had a funnel, but I didn't take one out in anticipation of what I was going to do. Theoretically, this is the amount of resin I'm going to need to fill those up. Now, I think I'm going to need a little more than that, but that should be pretty close. So let's. So it's all experiment. Try this out and let me make sure. Get all of the rice out of there. Get it roughly about even. Okay, let me go get a Sharpie to mark these. All right, so I have roughly even across both of them, so we'll put a line here, which is right about there. And let's see. Actually, I think it might be right about there to be even. Okay, so I have my lines for my resin pour, how much resin I'm gonna need. I go ahead and get rid of all of this rice now out of here. Make sure I get rid of all of it. All right. I know somebody's probably going to tell me that I shouldn't blow into these because the condensation in my breath will probably hurt something. But like, you know, it's me. Okay, so let's see if I can not spill this all over the place now. This is my thick one. So far, so good. So it's been sitting in front of the heater for a little bit too, but the part A on this particular resin is rather thick, which is funny because this is like pretty much the cheapest resin I could find, and I can't really compare it to the expensive resin because I haven't purchased any expensive resin yet. But well, I have the amylite, but it dries and seems like it mixes and cures just as well as the other stuff, and it seems like it turns as well as the other stuff. So I guess I will find out with all these pin blanks. So I'm going to set my timer here. Set timer for 1 minute 15 seconds. Okay, so I like to set the timer when I'm stirring it just to make sure I get the amount of time that I need. Make sure you get it off all the side walls and everything. I'm not too worried about bubbles at this point because I know that you know, I'm gonna put it in a pressure pot, so that's gonna help get rid of the bubbles. And so, and then as you stir it up, you know, the thin part A and the thicker part B, it makes it sort of a little bit thinner, but it is kind of a thick casting resin. And I haven't gone real thick with this stuff yet. So far, probably the pin blanks are about the thickest that I've poured as far as that goes, but yeah, 1 inch, 2 inches maybe. Yeah, if I've poured it 2 inches. So, and it seems to be okay. Didn't seem like it hurt anything, being that thick. So I'd recommend trying it out. I'll have links down below. And again, if you like this channel, please do subscribe, and that helps me out, and that keeps you along for the ride here. So let me put these back into where, oh, that's what I was gonna do. So that's what I forgot to do. I was actually gonna glue those down. So let me get my heat gun. So like I said, I'm not much in the way of prepared, but and we'll see. Hopefully this stuff won't float all the way to the top, but I think it only can go so far. So let me slide this on over here and bring these forward, and we'll divide this up between these 4 cups. Okay, so hoping this hot melt glue gun is good enough for now. Let's see if it is. Oh yes. Get a little dab of hot glue and put it on there. And like I said, I don't know if this will stick to this or not, but it's all an experiment. So my mistakes are your gain, actually. And you're welcome for that, by the way. But we'll see. And I'm just putting just a little dab of glue on the bottom of each one of these blocks here in an effort to keep them down into the mold so that when I add the resin, they don't come floating up. All right, so that actually worked out well. Okay. Well, it seems like they're stuck. Okay, so this first one, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue and red. So here we're gonna add some of this green to this one. And some of this called mint here to this. All right, so add some green to this stuff. This is going to be the interesting one. You know, what I didn't think about is this might soak up quite a bit of resin though. So I'm probably mumbling to myself so you guys can barely hear me, but what I'm thinking is that this is probably going to soak up quite a bit of resin. So it may require more than I think it does, but we'll see. This is going to have a number of colors in it, so this should be quite the bizarre looking blank. And it looks like I might have to mix up some more resin here. Okay, so I've underestimated the amount of resin I need, so I'm going to mix up some more here. All right, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to place this into the pressure pot, let it sit there overnight, and pull it out in the morning and see exactly what we have here. That's going to be it's going to be interesting. Let's see if I can get a little bit more. All right, guys, I mean it this time. I'm going to actually put this in the pressure pot. So we'll check it out and see how it looks tomorrow morning. All right, guys, next morning, so let's test this out, see what we got. All right, let's see if we can get you a little bit closer here. This one is like the one I did yesterday, but let's see what they look like now. These ones I actually did yesterday during the day, and it feels like they cured a little bit better. Okay, I'm sure there's a technique to get these out of here. I just don't want to mess up the silicone mold too much. In doing so, there we are. Oh, that one looks pretty nice, actually. Ah. All right, and here's our green and blue mix, or green and green mix. Actually, there's like mist and sea foam or something like that. And I'll give you close-ups of these too once I'm done here. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm stuck down the bottom. Yeah, this actually worked pretty good. That glue held them in there pretty good, actually. So this looks awesome. This has some awesome coloring in it. Really, really nice. And this one here was just a bunch of shavings off of the lathe. And that one, I think that's going to be a pretty cool looking blank. Half red, half blue. Remember that I had, I ran out of this color. So we put that, and this one was mostly red with some blue pieces. That's the method. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to turn these now. These look like they're going to be some awesome pen blanks. So there you go. Doing your own pen blanks seemed to be pretty easy. All right, so there you go, guys. Doing your own pen blanks seem to work out relatively easy. These molds, these are, and there's a link below, but these molds are just ice cube molds, actually, silicon ice cube molds. And they're like almost the perfect size for pen blanks. And they really look good. I can't wait to try these. These two should be interesting. Like I said, this one's just shavings. This is maple and walnut shavings from actually the bowl that I just finished up. And this one here this is a shavings of Wingay. And this is actually, these shavings are from a Forstner bit. When I'm making the cut, it has those little shavings that come out. This one is two of those blanks that I had before. I'm gonna make another really nice blank there. And this is again, two of those, I wanna say it's a maple burl, but I have two of those blanks in there, and this should look really good. So they come out great. I'll give you some close-up shots. Pretty good. Okay, kind of Wingay shavings